In the run-up to the 2016 general elections, President Nana Akufo-Addo, then the flag-bearer of the new Patriotic Party, made several campaign promises to the Ghanaian people.
We're going to go back to Kufuor's time when fertilizer was available and it was affordable for the farmers, for them to be able to...
One of these campaign promises resonated so well with the people of northern Ghana, the promise to construct a dam in every village in the north to help promote dry season farming.
We believe the correct policies can be put in place that will make it possible for agriculture to work. We heard him talking about one district, one factory. As far as this part of the world is concerned, I want to go forward, further, talk about one village, one dam, to make sure that in every village, we have a functioning dam to support the agriculture in our place.
This promise was first made before the Bolgatanga Traditional Council here in the Upper East region. Nana Akufo-Addo was on a campaign tour with his running mate, now Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. While there were debates on the feasibility of this campaign promise, the people of northern Ghana could only be hopeful because if this campaign promise were to be fulfilled, water from the promised dams would augment the few rains and long periods of drought that characterize the weather pattern in this part of the country. In July 2018, 1.5 years after Nana Akufo-Addo became president of Ghana, he visited the Upper East region as part of his tour around the country. One of his destinations was the Bongo district. On this day, while addressing the chiefs and people of Bongo, the president reaffirmed his commitment to deliver on his One Village, One Dam campaign promise.
We have begun the One Village, One Dam initiative, and you here in Bongo can see for yourself that we have begun the initiative. Bongo alone will get 10 dams this year. 570 are being built. You have the minister across the 3 northern regions, and Bongo constituency alone is going to get 10 out of that 570.
He had earlier cut sword for the construction of a dam at Aopya, a community in Bongo. This marked the takeoff of the One Village, One Dam initiative. It is now almost a year after the president's visit to Bongo, so we return to the Aopya community where we begin our series of stories from communities that are getting their share of the One Village, One Dam initiative.
It is okay for us, even though we're looking for a bigger dam whereby it can serve as dry season farming. Unfortunately, we didn't have that, but what we have, I think we still be content with it.
Initially, that was not what we were expecting. We were expecting something bigger and better than this, which we can use for irrigation farming during the dry season. But as you can see, the water is not enough.
This is the Aopya Dam, the dam which the president himself cut sword for its construction to begin in July last year. The dam is the size of about 2 football pitches or a little less than that. At the time of our visit, there was water in the dam, so it was difficult to tell how deep it was. However, the assemblyman for the area, Joseph Atule, gave us a picture of what this dam looked like below the surface. He described a sort of reservoir inside the dam which held some water during the dry season until recent rains brought in this water currently seen in the dam.
I don't know if you know the shape of a rectangle. So there's a bigger rectangle and there's a smaller rectangle inside it. So the water inside the bigger rectangle got finished, leaving only what is inside the smaller rectangle. So there's a bigger one and inside it there's a smaller one. So by March the water was inside the smaller one. And
the embankment of the dam looked strong. However, erosion was taking place at the back of it. Also, There were some farms around the dam, but there were no canals from the dam to these farms. We met these youth of the Aopya community who shared with us what they thought of their dam.
And even the size of the dam is not what we're expecting. We're thinking they will put up a bigger tent for us so that it can water our animals, and then we can also use for irrigation, farming, and other domestic purposes like building. I think what is there can only water the animals during the dry season. I think around March, April, those who were fetching the water for the building purpose, they have to stop them so that the animals can use the remaining water. If that intervention wasn't taken, the water would have finished.
The dam that they are constructing, I think it has served us a lot of additional purpose. But just the fact that what we're expecting the contractor to construct our dam, it hasn't done that way. Since looking at the edges, it is not well constructed. It's just a path. The animals were falling inside the dam when it is dry season.
They were saying that they are going to put a dam for us. So far as they have able to make it this way, then it's my pleading that they should come back to our age so that they can able to, you see, the land is just there. And then the people of this community, we are ready for the dam. So if they come back, they think there is a land here. You can be able to extend it so that we'll get the dam that we were expecting.
However, the district chief executive for Bongo, Peter Ayembesa, insists that while the dam may not be what the people thought they were going to get, it is still serving some purposes. According to him, the people of Aopya until now did not have a dam at all.
We are living in a community where we never had these dams in those communities. For the past many years, Aopya never had a dam. There used to be a small dugout within the Aopya community. I've visited that dam or that dugout several times, and that is why I decided that we should go there, because animals from nearby communities, including swine, go there to drink. For the past God knows how many years, they never had a dam like that that could contain water for the animals to drink, for human beings to fetch, to use it to reconstruct their houses or their homes. They never got that. So if I have that now, the people are very, very appreciative. You see, those who say that they are not properly constructed, our political opponent, I don't expect them to talk good about these dams, because in Bongo here, these shop did some dams. They are not better than these dams. And conveniently, we call those ones dams. As it were, the Bongo people are benefiting in different ways of these dams. What the animals used to do is to walk about 3-4 kilometers before they get to Via to get water. And sometimes on their way to drink or on their way back, they get stolen by unscrupulous people. So farmers within that vicinity they cannot rear in large quantities because they fear of the animals being stolen, because they have to travel long distances to be able to fetch water. So that water that is put there is saving the people because the animals don't travel long distances. Two, in our part of the country, we live in mud structures, and every rainy season we have these mud structures collapsing. Where do we go to get water? We have to buy water, get water tankers to supply water. How many of us in the villages have money to be able to buy water? So those dams that contain water are serving a lot of problems. People go there to fetch, to reconstruct their houses.
The assemblyman for Aopya agrees with the DCE to some extent, but argues that the dam in its current state cannot be used for dry season farming, which was the main purpose for which the dam was constructed in the first place.
As an assemblyman, I wouldn't want to go the tangent of politics, what people say, because I always look for development for my community. So I wouldn't want to go on that tangent. All what I know is that this dam can be expanded, and if it was done that way to serve the purpose of dry season farming, and then also can be used for domestic use, it would have been much better than it is now. That is my worry. And so my appeal is that if government can do something about it by way of expanding it so that we can use it for dry season farming, okay? Because this is a community that is predominantly farmers. And so if by dry season people can come around to do this dry season farming, the issue of Kayayu, people traveling to down south to look for greener pastures, will be curtailed.
He also recounted to us an incident when some children drowned in the reservoir inside the dam, which he had earlier described to us.
A very bad incident happened and somebody fell into it because the water that was left in the smaller angle, rectangle, the edges of that particular rectangle was too loose and muddy. So when those people came around to fetch the water, because of the loose nature of the edges of the reservoir, it caved in, and then one girl of about 10 years old lost her life through that.
Some people attributed the drowning of the children to the poor nature of construction of this dam, but the DCE disagrees.
There are dams around our district. The Via Dam, for example, half of Via Dam, only God knows how many people have been drowned in that dam. Almost every dam in the latest dam that somebody was drowned in is the Gorogo Dam. That was not constructed by one village, one dam. Yet it has killed so many people. The Bongosong Dam, 2 people died in that water within 1 day. 2 people died in that water within 1 day. It is not the matter of well constructed or not well constructed. It's about we, the human beings, telling our children to move away from the water. Every amount of water is dangerous. It's just like fire. So it is our responsibility to sensitize our children to stay away from the water. Look, the Assembly one, for example, the children were playing ball along the area of the dam. They kicked the ball into the water. The 2 of them were racing to see who would catch the ball first. When the first one got drowned, the second person, instead of him going out and going to inform the family, he wanted to swim across to the other side. By the time he got to the middle of it, he got tired and was drowned. How can you blame this one on construction? How can you blame this one on the contractor or the ministry or the assembly? These are man-made problems.
A sort of spillway has been created at one end of the dam.
I was thinking that this bank would have been raised to a certain level so that enough water can be contained. Unfortunately, that was not done. Aside that, as I said, the spillway, there is no concrete works on it. And so there is erosion going on over there. If you go there right now, there are big gullies in there. And that is chopping into the bank. And so if care is not taken and the contractor don't come back to site to work on them, I'm afraid maybe within the shortest possible time, this bank might lose our water because it will break off. And that will not help us as a community.
One thing is clear. While this dam at Aopya is providing water for animals and for construction purposes, the people of the community believe that it cannot be used for irrigation purposes and therefore has to be expanded. The story is not too different at the Cabaret community, still in the Bongo district. The dam here looks smaller than the one at Aopya. It is just about the size of a football field and is constructed on a land which has marbles in the soil. The bank of this dam looks more solid than the one at Aopya, perhaps due to the fact that this one was built with marbles mixed in the soil. The community members here at Cabaret are also mainly farmers. They say their animals drink from this dam, and just like at Aopya, they also fetch water from here for construction purposes. However, this dam to them is too small to irrigate lands during the dry season.
We're expecting that this one will be more bigger than this, so that if it can be able to last long or cover the dry season, we can use it for local irrigation. Yes, if we can have enough water. But because it doesn't meet the people's satisfaction, they withdraw their happiness. The speedway, that is not where we expect them to do. We thought that they have brought a speedway in this side so that the water can stay for long, because here is a waterlogged area.
We want the dam to be big so that we can do our vegetables here. That way we can use it for helping us to eat or to sell so that we can get money from them.
One of the farmers here at Cabaret also told us that there are some portions of the dam which have become death traps to some animals that try to drink the water. He explained that some of their livestock like to put their forelimbs in the water before they drink, and they can only do this when the dam is constructed in such a way that it slopes gradually from the shore to the middle. But portions of this dam, he says, have been constructed such that it is very deep right from the shore, and so some of their animals fall in and drown when they try to dip their forelimbs in the water before they drink.
This dam, I enjoy it with my building. All the building that has built affects water from here. But what is the problem that I saw inside this building, this contract dam, is deep like this, and they didn't open it. So our animals fell inside it. So if I come to fetch water, maybe I will move one goat or donkey. I found some of them like that and move it. So that one is a problem for us now that I see it.
Why do you think the animals are falling into the water?
Because they didn't open the basin. They just go it deep. And they didn't open it like this. So it's not sloping. So if the animals was walking like this, it will not just fall inside. And the water too, they open the spillway too much. The water cannot stay.
The DCE for Bongo, Peter Yembesa, is the elected assemblyman for this area. But his appointment as the DCE means that the government-appointed assembly member, Veronica Atia, has to take charge of the electoral area.
Yeah, we had animals fell inside because of the steep nature of it. There were several. They reported 2 cases to me, but if they are first time, I didn't say I can't talk much.
She agrees that the dam in its current state is too small to be used for irrigation purposes.
What we benefit right now is at least our animals have been able to drink. We've been able to use it for our building projects. Unlike first, we have to go to the borehole, which is very far. Now we get water to help us in building, plastering, a whole lot of work and other domestic purposes. We actually expected more than this. We wish the contractor should have done some other works to make it more useful to us, because we intend, and all the whole community, we intend that we wish we could add crop cultivation, like dry season crop cultivation to it. So we still appeal. We wish that it could have been expanded a little bit, make it more a way that it can contain a lot of water to sustain, so that when our animals are drinking, we are fetching for our domestic purposes, we can equally fetch it to do dry season farming.
In spite of the small size of the dam, it has a large spillway which the community members here complain allows a lot of water coming into the dam to go out into a waterway outside the community and waste away. The older farmers here at Cabaret seem to be content that they have water for their animals at least, but they appeal to the government to consider expanding the dam.
The
communities that depend on this dam are many. Communities like Akuyo, Kanserenga, Siyanga, Tindongo, Gutin, Apatanga, and we here at Cabaret all depend on this dam. We cannot say that the government has not done anything for us, because our animals drink from this dam, so we no longer have to go long distances looking for them. The only problem is we are too many, so the dam is too small to serve all of us. Therefore, we appeal to the government to come and expand it for us.
achongto amarete juula ku nakapato.
Out of the 10 dams the president promised will be constructed in the Bongo district, only 4 are currently under construction. These 4 include the 2 shown in this documentary because according to the Bongo DCE, works on these dams are not yet complete and the contractors are expected to come back to site.
My rating on work done so far is what I place 75%. I want to believe that by the time the entire dam is constructed with every facility that is there, I would have given it close to 95%.
But we do not know when all this work will be done.
They will be done before December because I spoke to the contractor and I believe that he promised that this week he will be here. He went to Tamale to rent some equipment. We don't have those equipment here. So usually he has to go to rent them from Tamale. So I believe that it will not take any long time. He will come back to continue. He will continue to put pressure on the contractor and the consultant so they get the man to come back and continue with the unfinished work.
In the next of our series, we take you to the communities of Kajelu in the Kasna-Nankana West District and Soy in the Bolgatanga municipality, where portions of the banks to the dams constructed there recently collapsed. For Joynews, Albert Sori and Joshua Asa reporting.